Right here?
Let's see it.
How big do you want? I don't want to mess up your boat. Really? That's
Awesome.
Nice, guys.
Awesome. Cool, man.
Very cool. Nice.
I'm totally stoked, man.
Nice. Now don't put that in the water. Oh yeah, it's bright. Should I stand up here or down there?
Down. Well, you're in front of the screen.
Okay. Thank you. All right, guys. Thank you all for coming. I assume some of you watched my YouTube channel. So you know what you're in for then. Good. Okay. Canoecopia. This is the first time I've been here. It's really cool. Everybody's really awesome. It's been a good experience already. Very similar to Northern Ontario, Canada, where I live. So it's pretty cool. Thanks everyone for coming out, for making the trip, to see me, to see the show. I know some people flew and drove from a long place to get here, so that's really awesome. Today we're going to talk about canoe tripping, wilderness canoe tripping from a pack boat. If you guys don't know, next to me here is a pack boat. A pack boat is a nimble, lightweight solo craft, and it's perfect for someone like me. We're going to talk about why, the benefits. Yeah, we'll get right into it. Oh, you know what? I need a volunteer from the audience. You. Okay. Can you please? It's perfect where you're sitting too. How do we know how to do that? I don't know. Just like down arrow. Down arrow. Here, and then when I ask you to, can you please just push the down arrow? Yes. All right. Probably be able to find it better than I was. Okay. Let's get into it. Thanks, man.
If he comes with
That side. He's all right.
Okay, yeah.
All right, don't get carried away, but hit it, please. Okay, so some of the things we're going to talk about: lightweight gear. This is a lightweight boat. Why am I going to carry a bunch of heavy gear when I have a lightweight boat? This is my mentality. The essentials: what has to come, what are you going to leave at home? Food. Food is very important. We all have to eat, right? And out there, eating properly, getting full, and getting the nutrients you need is important. If you're busting your butt every day trying to get somewhere, portaging, paddling, all that fun stuff. And keeping it fun, which is why we're all here, right? This is why we're here. This is what we like to do. How to pack effectively? What has to come? Well, what do you need for comfort and to live out there? You need something to keep you warm. You need something to procure your water for you, right? You need to stay out of the elements. So clothing, shelter, a pot to boil water in, which probably isn't the way to go if you're canoe tripping. A water filter is my preferred method. A pack. My favorite pack, my pack that I like, this isn't going to work out, Scott. My favorite pack that I like to use on, I think this needs to just, because I'm going to be running back. My favorite pack for canoe tripping is this old dirty beast. This is a Mech Slav. Mech is like the Canadian equivalent of REI. So it's their brand. This is a Slav, 65 or 70 liter, and it's been through the ringer. It's got a, thank you. It's got a flat back on it with a support, and that's really necessary too, because this is the Slav Deluxe, and I have the Slav without back support. It's not a good time. So I'm a small guy, obviously, right? What I can max out on my back is about 30 pounds, and that fits into this food, all that stuff, relatively easily. I can trip out of this for a week, 10 days, and that's about where I would draw the line, because nothing really changes except for your food amount, right? You have all your same gear that you're going to be using throughout your canoe trip, but your food, the amount of food, the duration of the time that you're out there will depend on your food. So this is a really good backpack. Sometimes I wear a backpacking backpack, which I like because it has external pockets and straps, whereas this one really doesn't. I can put my tripod to the side, because filming for me is a necessity. I film everything I do, outdoor-wise. So being able to access my tripod easily is very good. When I don't use that backpack where I can slide on the top, slide it in the side, I bring a very small tripod that I can fit sideways in the top of my backpack and smash it down on portages. Clothing falls into that too. I like to wear and bring lightweight nylon stuff. I don't like shorts. Even in the middle of the summer, I don't like shorts because of the exposure to the sun and because of the exposure to bugs. So a very lightweight nylon pair of pants is my go-to. I usually wear, you probably all heard me talk about Fall Raven, I wear Fall Raven pants. They're a bit heavier duty, and I'll wear those, but then I'll bring something like this. It's just lightweight little like flood waiter type pants. Roll up so small I can fit in my cargo pocket. Very little space, very little room. The option of changing out your pants when you get to camp, like on a long distance thing, is a huge deal. You know what I mean? It's to stay dry, to get dry, to stay, just feel like a person after 30 kilometers, I don't know what it is, I don't know what it is. 30 kilometers of paddling in the bugs and the heat, you know what I'm saying? So anyways, lightweight, and the shirts are the same way too. I do prefer a short sleeve shirt as opposed to a long sleeve. I guess my arms aren't that sensitive to it. Fishing, yeah, we'll talk about fishing. The paddle. So what I use for my pack boat is a Werner Camano. This is a 240, and a 240 is the length, right? So this goes on, it's a two-piece. You can actually, obviously you guys know this, you can switch it and cant it so for different wind situations, so you're not trying to cut through the wind with your blade like this, it's more like this. I've had this paddle or a variation of this paddle for 5 years, and they're going strong. My other one, this is all carbon fiber. My other one had fiberglass blades, and now my buddy Doug, I'm sure some of you guys know Doug as well. Yep. Yes? Yeah. He's a rough gentleman, and he does not treat these things with respect, and they're still going strong. That's my point. Paddling a double blade allows me to go distance. It allows me to do rough water. Whereas if I'm in a single blade, you know what I mean? I'm not, just personally, I'm not that strong of a canoe paddler. I know this. So me trying to do this for 8 hours a day is not going to work. This is where this comes in handy. Paddle's awesome. Paddling it with the double paddle is awesome. And the boat, yeah, the boat's Pack 13.6. It's the Swift Adirondack Pack 13.6. I'm getting a Cruiser 12.6 soon, and that's a little bit different of a model. It has more of a tumble home. It's more sleek, more of a racing design. Whereas this one, and these come in different sizes. This is a 13'6". There's a 10, there's a 12, I think there's a 14 something. And depending on the size of you, depending on the duration of your trip, depending on your skill level, depending on the amount of gear you're going to bring, that will weigh your decision on what size to get, or even if it's a pack boat at all. All right, please. Yeah, so some of the things I spoke about already, like very, very fast. One of the things that I was discouraged about, I was actually almost talked out of buying a pack boat before, was the amount of time that it would take when you get to a portage, the amount of time that it would take to set up your boat for portaging, right? Because the yoke isn't attached, right? I have a carbon fiber yoke right here, and this just goes in the front of my boat for my paddle. It doesn't matter, but then when you get to the portage, you have to set up your boat. I thought I would show you guys real quick how I do that, just to like negate that thought of it's too much work, it's not worth it. So somebody yesterday mentioned, this is the downside for me, mentioned that, asked if I carried an extra paddle, and I don't. Because the problem with the pack boat is that you sit so low, and the gunnels are out a bit wide, it would be almost impossible to reach over and paddle like this. So I don't really know how much a single bladed, because you're not going to bring an extra double blade, it's just not going to happen. I don't know how much an extra single blade would help, so that is a downside if you do like to bring an extra paddle. Personally, I'm very, very meticulous where I put my paddle. My other one, like I said, was red, so I would stick it up in the mud. It's like a flag to not even show me where my paddle was, but to get back to my boat after like a crazy portage that wasn't marked or anything like that. So I think I will be putting red bands or something along the lines on these paddles just for extra safety. Okay, so we got a safety kit, right? This is mandatory. In the States too? Here? No? No? Yes. All right. In Canada, you have to have this. This is a bail kit. This is a whistle, and this is a rope. So get it on the back handle, and then it's out of the way. And this stays on for the duration of my trip, however long I'm tripping for. This just stays here. I've never had to use it, thank God, and I hope I never will. But it's there, and it's out of the way, and it's not cumbersome. It doesn't really throw the balance off all that much. Like I said, I'll have my paddle all together. I'll have my paddle together. I have my paddle all together.
Dip it in the water.
Yeah. So, when I go camping, when I'm canoeing, I try to fish. I attempt fishing, and I really enjoy that part of it. When I get to a portage, I don't want to have to, sorry guys, I don't want to have to break down my rod, put it in my pack, or try to hold it on portage, anything like that. I just stick it underneath the front handle. The top goes on there, and I usually have a rubberized grip tie, gear tie. I don't have one, I have one of these right now, so that's what we'll use, but it's the same idea. And now, while it may be a little noisy when you're portaging, it's sturdy, it's solid, you don't have to worry about it. And when you get to the end of the portage, if you don't remember to take it off, and you're like at a rapid, you want to fish or whatever, it's just one clip, and it's super easy. Nothing has to be holding it up here. Very easy. I'll normally have a couple GoPros on my boat at all times. Like, this is the best one that I have, and I can move the clamp all around and everything, but I also do have one, it's probably my backpack, that attaches and it stays stationary there. So I have all that set up. I'll come to the portage, and I used to think, so this boat's a touch different than mine. You guys see these two holes? The new yokes for this year just screw with these knobs right down into those holes. It's very convenient. My boat doesn't have it, it's a little bit older. So what I learned, I was told, and I was thinking I would have to, every time, unscrew these, tighten it, get it back on, undo it. All you have to do is just push the boat, because the boat flexes, right? So just push the boat, make sure it's somewhere where you want it. Yep. Somebody loosen this on me. Loosen this to take it. Yo, Scott. Anyways. Yep. So when you have it tight, it's on there. That's horrible. That's horrible. So I have a webbing on the front, like a rope. I like to use webbing because it doesn't get as tangled. My fishing hooks don't get as caught in it either. So come to the portage, pop this on just like that quick, grab my rope. I'll usually have my paddle leaning up against a tree, or I'll put it in my hand at the same time, and this thing just goes right up on top. This rope now in front, it's a little off balance. There we go. I can pull it down, as you guys know, to get tension, to guide it, whatever. And the yoke is in the wrong spot right now, because it is a removable yoke. Every single time you put it on, I like to put a piece of grippy tape where I'm going to mark my yoke at, because then I know the balance is correct every time, and I can balance this boat without even using my hands. And when I need to steer around trees and whatnot, this is what this rope comes in handy for. Very, very handy. It does the whole trick. Come to the end, pop it off, throw it in the front, literally hop in, grab on my front for it, sit down, and I'm good to go. I will, like I said with the paddle, have it leaning up against the tree so that I don't have to reach down after that boat is in my hands, on my head. I don't have to reach down and try and grab it, right? Either that or I can pick it up at the same time. Excuse me. Yeah, it's very comfortable for all-day paddling conditions for multiple day paddling. You can see on the boat itself, it has a high back seat with a lumbar support. This lumbar moves, Velcro, you can put it wherever you want. There's straps on the seat itself to bring it up tighter, to push it off, to give you slack. Extremely comfortable, especially compared to a traditional canoe seat. I tend to move my pedals on the front of it all the time because I'm switching where my legs go. Like after you're paddling, hours in the day, you got to move a little bit. Even on a traditional canoe, you're either kneeling, you're sitting back up, what have you. Those pedals in the front, where I'm pushing off to get oomph, I can move forward, back. Sometimes in a lazy, meandering river, I just cross my legs completely and just relax and just paddle up upper body. Yeah, it's like, and again too, it's like a kayak. It's like the best of both worlds. It's like an open top kayak, a convertible kayak with all the space that you can use up readily available to drop stuff in, not having to open up hatches and try and jam things in a kayak. And it's not really a canoe either. It's like some kind of bastardized middle thing, but it's very efficient. And I don't understand why. Like I've gotten flack because it's not a canoe, and I call it a canoe. You know what I mean? But I don't understand why you wouldn't just do everything in your possibility to make your time outside more enjoyable. You know what I mean? It really does for me. Yeah, please. So this trip, the picture, that's my first pack boat. That's the one that old Dougie has, and it's beat up right now. This is in Temagami in Ontario, and this was a very rough trip. This is the first time that I had that boat, so I thought that I could load this up to the gills. I actually had a bigger bag than this. I borrowed from Doug, and it was 115 liters full. And I can't carry it. I can't. But I thought because that was 26 pounds, that I could, you know, just put some of that weight into my backpack and it would be fine. It's not the case. So really, it's still a game of not even counting grams, but really just bringing the efficient things that you need. Maybe a little luxury here and there, but the lightweight of it does not does not take over this. And that's what leads me to the next thing. Yeah, identifying what you don't need. Like, how many times have you been on a camping trip in general and pulled out all these things that you never, even when you got home, pulled out all these things that you never even looked at when you were camping. You just had all these ideas. Oh, I'm going to play cards. I'm going to do all this stuff. And it's cool to bring things for entertainment. I get that, especially if you're with someone. But you really need to like learn how to not, and you will. Going on a couple trips where you have to carry that stuff for no reason, you will learn that and you will not do it again. Yeah. and it's about finding the balance between everything. Like I gave the example yesterday. I wish I had it on top. Last spring, I did a 10-day trip where I stayed stationary. I fished for my food. It was all pike the whole time. It was so bad. But that was the very beginning of the year, and I had not canoe tripped yet. And I paddled into that site and stayed there. I do not consider that canoe tripping at all, and I really wanted to do a canoe trip. So I loaded up my backpack, a smaller one than this, with 17 pounds total. Food, everything, and I don't carry water weight because of my water filter, and I'll go through that later on. But 17 pounds everything in, and because of that, I used this as a shelter. Yeah, it was really bad. So it was June. Black flies are still kicking around, but mosquitoes like crazy. This is a half body length shelter. So you tie it up. There we go. We're going to do this. And then you cinch it right here around your waist. And the idea is you're in your sleeping bag, feet down, so nothing can get you. And from like waist up, you're in this, so the bugs can't get you. It did not work. It did not work at all. I got eaten alive, had a horrible sleep, and if I would have brought my tent, it would have been a half a pound more weight. Okay? That's ridiculous, right? Why wouldn't I just bring a tent? Because I got it in my head that this is a high-speed, low drag, no frills, no nonsense canoe trip, and I'm just going to go minimal on everything. I was so hot that night, and I couldn't get out of my sleeping bag. I would have been blown up. But that's what I mean, finding the balance, right? So now I know, and in the same respect, it's cold now. It's winter time, and when I go camping, I'm going to bring fleece pants for nighttime. You know what I mean? It's those things that you don't want to suffer. In either way, you don't want to suffer because you don't have enough gear. You don't want to suffer because you're carrying too much gear. Find the balance. Yes, lessons learned. That's my lesson learned. Things I've learned the hard way, many things, that's one of them for sure. Single portaging. Single portaging is a big deal. As you guys know, as anyone who's ever canoe trip knows, you can't, I keep doing that. You can't expect to make distance in a day. You can't expect to move a lot if you're walking 3 times on that portage trail. So you're single carrying, boom, done. If you're double carrying, obviously you're walking there, back, and there again, right? So a 2-kilometer portage becomes 6, and that's eats up time and energy. When, if you're just prepared, if you do it all properly and right, then you can single carry it. Obviously, it's not for everyone, and I don't do it all the time either. It's time dependent. It's trip dependent. Yeah, I think I dealt with a lot of this stuff. Dealing with a camera is kind of it's a tricky thing in the boat. I film everything, like I said, and I do have those GoPros, which are amazing now, but they're not a DSLR. They're not a camera. So I have to be very careful when I'm getting in or getting out of the boat, or even in the boat with my camera. Normally it lays next to me, and then when I get it, I pack it away. But everybody's different. Like I know you guys, not everyone is shooting videos for YouTube, but you're taking pictures, right? You're out there. You want the memories, right? So the new pack boats have these attachments on them, and you're going to be able to get all these accessories, mounts that you can jack your tripod way up and have your camera sturdy on there. Not only that, fishing rod holder for trolling on the front. Really, really cool stuff. What gear is essential? Yeah, just like, so I'll show you my water. This kind of falls in line with my my water bottle. When I'm tripping, hopefully it's around. I carry a Be-Free, a Katadyn Be-Free. Anyone know what that is? I think I need to pull it out. There you go. It's a soft-sided water bottle. I'll pull it out in a minute. It collapses. So all I do is I have it in my cargo pocket. When we're paddling, I just scoop up the water. I drink, and by the time we get to a portage, I have to pee, do my thing, put that thing back in my pocket, portage with it, and then I'll chug water again at the next portage. I like not having to carry water weight. You know, it's very heavy, obviously. I'll pull it out in a minute, please. Oh, I dehydrate my own food. And there's a couple of reasons. You guys know what this is? I heard it. Ursac. It is an Ursac. It is a bear bag as well. This is a Kevlar bag. So I was always under this old school thought and practice of hanging my bear bag, over a tree, which is normal. When I started tripping in places that don't have deciduous trees that their arms grow out, you can't hang 10 feet off and 10 feet down to get away from a bear. There's only black spruce that shoot straight up, or jack pine that are very, very weak. I found out about the Ursac. The Ursac keeps bears from getting your food at a height where they can reach it. So Kevlar strings, everything, and a rope, and then inside there's there's my water filter. Smell-proof bag, right? So all you do is you tie this up at the bottom of a tree. You tie it in through these little holes here, really tight, so rodents can't get in there and everything. I actually have a friend who has a video of a bear ripping at this with no luck and leaving because he couldn't get into it. So very, very good quality piece of gear. I would highly recommend that, especially for people tripping in places like Woodland Caribou, places that don't have big trees. I dehydrate my own food, like I was starting to say. So if you look at the normal commercial dehydrated food, let alone the ingredients, let alone the nitrates and all the preservatives and things like that, which do not agree with me, and out on a canoe trip I don't want to have any problems. That's the size of it, that's the footprint. And of course you can smash it down and do whatever to it, but it's still that big. And that's one meal. Now, at home, my lovely wife cooks all the time, and she makes things, chili, spaghetti, whatnot, and I'll dehydrate that food when she makes it. So this is legit leftovers. There's nothing special about this at all. And this is a full meal. Look at the size of that compared to that. Lightweight, stays good, half the size. This is chili. This tastes phenomenal. There's meat in this, there's beans in this, everything. She also does the spaghetti, and we'll do the same thing. When we're done eating, I don't know, pasta, I'm not sure if I'm saying the right word, but when we're done eating, I just mix the sauce and the noodles together, throw in the dehydrator, and call it good. Very healthy, very cheap. This is 12 bucks. This is 12 bucks. Imagine you're going for 7 days, and you're eating 3 of these a day. This is just leftovers. That's why I do that, and the health reasons for sure are a huge plus. So you see on the left here, that's a picture of mine. I love to bring steak in the woods. I love to bring stuff I can grill up, good food, good whole. But on a canoe trip, it's just not going to happen. You know what I mean? Unless you bring it and eat it the first day, kind of thing. But I'm always, always, always weight conscious and space conscious, and that's not really good for that. So different times call for different things. I really like to cook good in the bush. Tips and tricks: pour water on that dehydrated spaghetti. Call it good. Foods to avoid. I really like fish when I'm out there and stuff like that. I don't know, what would you avoid? What are we going to avoid eating? Personally, chocolates and things like that for me, but I think, yeah, you want to make sure that the bulk of your food that you're carrying, that you're physically expending energy to carry, is worth it. It's going to give you that energy, that nutrients back. No gummy worms. Favorite snacks are nuts. Chocolate-covered almonds are my favorite snack. Actually, M&M peanuts, just quality out there. You got your candy, chocolate, and nut. You can't really go wrong. But yeah, snacks for calories, stuff like that. Chips are really good. Actually, Pringles. Pringles weight are the most calorie dense stuff going. Not very good for you. My favorite dinner recipe is spaghetti. Spaghetti, for sure. I like the spaghetti a lot, and a steak when I can do it. But I caught that though, so it's okay. Don't take my advice for fishing. I don't know what I'm doing. That's my general consensus. Although I am learning, and those of you who watch the channel you'll agree, right? There's been fish. So I never had anyone show me how to fish. I never understood about fishing. I didn't know anything about what right lure to use, any of that stuff. Over the course of the past few years, I've started to learn a little bit better and better and better. Doug, my friend Doug and I crossed Algonquin Park from west to east. Algonquin's huge. Algonquin's enormous. Like, they said it was the size of something. It's big. It's big. We crossed it from the west to the east, and we caught trout for half of it, and then we caught bass for the rest of it. And my biggest tip that I can give anyone, and I'm sure this is really just child's play, fishing the rapids. Like that is like honestly the best chance that you have for catching fish. I've caught trout in rapids, I've caught walleye, I've caught pike, I've caught bass. My favorite fish to catch and eat is trout. My favorite fish of all time to catch is bass. It's just so much fun, and I do eat it as well. Not pike. But so when I'm fishing for food, when I know like I need to get food, I'm trolling. Like that's bottom line. That's what I'm gonna do if there's no rapids around, because the success rate for me has been very good. A nice big silver spoon. I stop sometimes and let it just fall right to the bottom and go again. That's when I get a lot of hits right on the bottom or starting to go again. Yeah, I like fishing. I really like fishing. I hope to learn more about it soon. I'm sure you guys, a lot of you know more about it than I do. The cleaning. So, spiky bass, we're referencing pike. You guys call them jacks here? No? Northerns. So when you clean them, they have a Y bone, right? There's a 5 fillet method. You can get that Y bone out. I have a hard time doing it sometimes. You cook that fish, you just pick it out, it's good too. But then smooth will be the bass, where like you're just, it's a nice, easy, straightforward fillet, and go to town from there. But don't let me discourage you. Don't be discouraged on pike. Like you still get a ton of meat off of it, even if you fillet it normally, and then you take the back strap completely off, and that's a nice piece of meat. Favorite ways to cook fish? I have a reflector oven called a Svanti Frieden, and it's from Sweden. And you put your grill, I put my little grill in there and set it right next to the fire. Fire's here, I just set it on the rocks right here next to it, and after about 20 minutes, half an hour, the thing is like come out of the broiler. It's really, really nice. When we did our woodland caribou trip, flying woodland caribou trip, best trip of my life, most remote, best fishing, just amazing, amazing trip. We caught pike and walleye for 8 days. It was a 9-day trip. And a 9-day trip, and we knew that there was lake trout. We were told, yeah, you'll get lake trout, no problem, early season, all this. 8 days. Our last day we're leaving, and it's like, where are the lake trout? You know what I mean? Finally hooked into them. Again, trolling with a Len Thompson on the bottom or whatever. God, I'm so elated. That's the picture. That is probably the happiest I've been in years. Like I legitimately, it was the first lake trout I ever caught. Didn't know anything about it. I was extremely happy, and I beat my fishing buddy who was with me, which made it all better too. But we cooked it in the Svanti Frieden reflector oven, and I saved a slice of lemon for 9 days in my dirty old pack. Put it on there, it was heavenly. It was very, very nice. Also, batter with oil, solid, and on a stick over the fire. On a stick over the fire for nostalgic, bushcrafty reasons is probably my favorite.
Or just have Doug cook it.
Yeah, that's always good. That way it's not ruined. Have him come catch it. Yeah, keeping it fun. You know what I mean? That's the whole thing. That's why we're all here. You guys paid to come here. You know what I mean? This is just to be around people who are into canoeing, to get inspiration for canoeing, to plan your own adventures for canoeing. That all takes money. That's why we want to be here. It's fun. We appreciate it. You know what I mean? You have to remember that when you're out there. Sometimes it's not fun when you're out there. Have you come across that? That's a real thing. You know what I mean? But that's also type B fun, where you can look back on that and say, man, we really did something cool. You know what I mean? Going solo, you learn stuff about yourself. You really slow down. You get to do things when you want, when you want to do them. I don't want to get up right now. I want to lay in bed for another hour. Cool. I want to have bacon for breakfast instead of hurrying up, eating oatmeal and getting out of here. Cool too. I really like it, and I believe, and Kevin Callan has said this many times, I believe that for a solo trip, you need to be out there for like 4 days minimum, 4 nights minimum to really feel yourself, to really get in the groove with things, nature. And going in groups, it's the exact opposite of that. It's a camaraderie, it's the adventure, it's the little bit of safety net because someone's there too. There's no right or wrong, there's no better or worse there, it's just how you're feeling at that time and what you want to do. But I will say this, get yourself someone, if you don't know who you're tripping with very well, if you haven't been experienced with them tripping, don't go on a 10-day trip or maybe do a one-nighter. Feel it out. But it's good to introduce people as well. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, that's not what I'm saying. Yeah, just understand what you're getting yourself into. Finding good challenges is a huge part of it for me. It's probably the main reason that I want to do this. I love beating myself into the ground, portaging, being just wrecked at the end of the day and just crashing hard. It's such a rewarding feeling. It really is. And then looking back at that footage, yeah, avoiding repetition. I think everyone wants to do that. New spots to explore for me. Where I'm headed this year, I'm going to do the Blood Vein River in Woodland Caribou. That's a Canadian Heritage River. Lots of good fishing opportunities with my buddy Kyle. I'm sure some of you know who I'm talking about, so we haven't been together in a long time. He moved to California. I'm really excited to do that. There's going to be lots to do this year. I moved north. I live down near Sault Ste. Marie, and I used to live in Windsor. Windsor and Detroit are close, you know what I mean? I lived in the Nautic canoe shipping area. Now I live near Sault Ste. Marie, and the world is open to me. So I'm going to be doing a lot of crown land camping, which is just like, you know, state land. How do I liken it? Free land. Free land. It's not a park. A lot of park tripping, Killarney, Lake Superior Park, Temagami. Lots of fun. I think that's it. So let's open up for any questions, if there are any. Yes?
What do you like to wear on your feet?
Oh, very good question, man. I actually meant to touch on that. That depends, too. My favorite, because, again, I'm tripping spring, summer, fall, right? Summer, there's really no worries. Summer is like a carefree, I don't really have to worry about what I'm doing, what I'm wearing as much. These are, do you say it Morel or Merrill?
Morel.
Thanks, guys. We'll call it Merle. Yeah, I like to wear these a lot. These are called the Rapids. So these are neoprene inside, very quick drying shoes. They don't have ankle support. They're not a hiker. Okay, and that might go against what some people think. My thinking behind this is hikers are Gore-Tex. I get wet getting in and out of this boat. There is no getting around it. Like, you can do land entries and exits, but 9 times out of 10 it's a water. And you're stand up to your ankle, whatever, however deep it might be. So I like for my shoes to dry. If I'm wearing Gore-Tex hikers that come up to my ankles or whatever, those are great for keeping me dry for like the first 2 hours of a trip, you know what I mean? And even if they don't get wet from water, they're going to get wet from sweat, and they are not going to dry out, period. And that's okay if you're in the middle of the summer, it doesn't matter. But in the very early spring, in the morning, you try to put your boot on and it's frozen solid, it's not the funnest thing. So, having these, being able to dry these out by the fire enough at night, and I get all the protection I need out of these ankle-wise, personally. The lace doesn't soak with water either because it's so small and has that little constrictor. I will say that I do wear neoprene socks if it's very cold underneath these as well. And then, if I'm not wearing my neoprene socks with these during the day, I will switch out at camp to my neoprene socks and only wear my neoprene socks at camp as camp shoes while these dry. Or while I give my feet a break because they've been wet all day.
What model was that?
I think it's called the Rapid. Rapid, yeah. They're very lightweight. I've had these. This is my second pair of them. I blow through a pair in a season. I'll tell you that too. Like, they're not, like, you will ruin them. But $60, you know, it's not. Anyone else? Yes.
One thing that you don't mention too much in your videos is how do you get into the canoe?
How do I actually physically get in?
Yeah, I see you like stepping on it, stability down and all the stuff, but when you have to like, how do you do it?
Yeah, so it's actually, it just takes a little bit getting used to. It's a little bit of a graceful thing. So a lot of the entries is very rocky. It's really hard to get in. You know what I mean? I had to rappel my boat I had to rappel it down a cliff to get to a portage with a rope. Anyways, yeah, it's just you kind of balance it with the one hand, step in quick, keep your center of gravity low. I can't really show you too much. Maybe I can. Put it on the ground here. Wait. Somebody tell me if you want to know. Yeah, so I'm just basically keeping my center of gravity low. I don't actually hold on to the gun now. I'm thinking about it just in like this. You can stand in these boats when it's in the water. It tips, but not bad at all. This is a very, very stable boat. I've never considered even tipping in one of these ever. I was in Woodley Caribou with my buddy Sean. Almost a tornado kicked up, and the waves were so bad, it was still fine. But anyways, getting in, I usually grab the front, sit down on that, and then the same way to get out, I grab this and pull my body up, low center of gravity, step out again. I swear, you can stand up on these things. It's not a problem. No, it's very stable. Very stable boat. You're so low. Yes?
What about first aid?
Okay, yeah, so I brought my first aid kit. Basically, I bring things, and I think everyone should cater their first aid kit to themselves. For me personally, black flies, they kill me. I have a horrible reaction to them. My blood gets poisoned from them. It's really bad. So I have to carry a lot of Benadryl.
Look who I found.
Joe, how's it going?
Good, how you doing?
Good.
Good to see you again,
Nice to
man.
see you. Welcome to Wisconsin.
Thanks.
First time in the States or what?
No, I love the States. Been around lots. Look at, we got the council tools. All the awesome axes that Mr. Rooster has designed. You designed all these?
No.
Okay,
no.
take that back.
A lot of them. I sold the Woodcraft line, so we got the pack axe, the new camp carver. And then I brought some personal ones. We got the double bit. And little Hudson Bay.
Yeah, that's a cutie. I was looking at that yesterday for sure. Very cool. That double bit's pretty awesome too.
That's like, kids will be talking about.
Just busting my chops over here.
Bill's is too strong. He's got bad shoulder, so he keeps it really low. 240 is good for me. I don't get it wet. 14.